and I should have taken it. I was telling myself I should take it if it pulled back below 1910, and I would have been extraordinarily happy with this trade, even on like the 20 shares I probably would have taken. What would I have taken here? No, I guess I could have taken it with maybe a two. Wow, I could have taken it maybe with a $3 risk. That would have given me a lot of shares. I think 60 shares on that then. Well, anyways, I'll just have to be satisfied with Apple. So come on, Apple, let's go back to VWAP.
It's a Tuesday afternoon. Currently, we have Peter in an Apple trade,
Hello,
taking
everyone.
back all the money that Apple took from me, so I'm extraordinarily happy about it.
We're keeping it in the family then. Just,
Yep, that's
trade
what
the
matters.
money around back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Just pass the money around the family. It's okay. And Mike F, yes, I did take Baba to the short side earlier today, but again, that just painfully gets me because I got stopped out before, or I didn't get stopped out. I just got stopped out at break even before the big move because I partialed right at 268 right before it broke that level, and it bounced back, stopped me out, and then it did its big drop. But I'm perfectly happy with that. I accept those type of moves are just part of how I trade and how I minimize risk. So I am perfectly happy to accept that. The ones that I'm not perfectly happy to accept are when you enter a trade on low volume, on sporadic volume, on volume that does not show you that it's going to break through the low of the day, and you take it and then you get stopped out right away. Those are the trades that I get upset at myself about. Jimmy L's asking for your help, Peter, to take Facebook short, so it will drop.
Unfortunately, my life doesn't work that way. It doesn't move because I take a trade. I wish it did. That's maybe an Andrew move. He can seem to bend things to his will, but I don't
Yeah.
have that power.
But you do
Right
have
now,
the lookup on it, though, Jimmy L. I would definitely keep an eye on it to see if it can make another high or if it double tops up here somewhere.
yeah, I was just gonna say, to me, it looks like on the short term, it looks like it's heading up here, and but it might put a lower high. If it does,
Yep.
then it might be in play. It's tough to tell with the SPY right now. Look at the SPY action. Same thing with the Qs. It's sort of just bouncing here, especially the SPY. So that makes me a little nervous on trades. We've got what, 27 minutes, just short thereof left. So there's still time for a move to play out, but
Yeah. The SPY's high is what, 33, 39.82? Is that the...
Yes. Where do I have the 339.08 is what I have.
So
here.
it just broke through it then.
Let's see here.
It broke through today then.
330. Is it 339.08? Yeah, that was the previous high.
So it hit 339.10 today.
Yeah, look at that. So it did just a couple minutes ago. Huh, I didn't even realize that.
314.
There you go. How exciting. All right. Facebook now
So
is
now we
looking
have a
like
new one. We can move this up now. There we go. The new high of the... There's that interesting play on Facebook, Jimmy L. It depends on what you want to see in it and what you're willing to take for risk, because there's a big move up to that, still up to the high of the day for it. I know you like it to be pretty tight to the high of the day, right, Peter, on your...
If I can, yeah.
Yeah, this one, I mean, you're almost $1.
I'm looking at Facebook here now. I'm watching it. I've actually taken a short on it. We'll see if it works out. I'm a little nervous about it because it's not one of my A+ setups, but I'm hoping. Today I haven't found any A+ setups, so I feel I'm sort of playing some secondary setups here, taking a quick partial on it. Come on. Oh no.
And you get the phone call.
Taking another partial, moving my stop to break even, answering the phone.
Of course, the car dealership has to call when you're in the middle of a trade. That's how it always goes. Jimmy, are you short in there? Where are you short from, Jimmy? Bouncing back off of them. UVA 264.22. Ah, that ain't too bad. You got a decent move out of it as well. So we'll see what Peter does with it here, heading to the downside. Anybody else besides short 264, Jimmy, besides UVA and Jimmy L? Anybody else short in it? There's some good opportunities out there today for trades. Unfortunately, I didn't quite take advantage of them. NVIDIA was a good one as well. If anybody was watching NVIDIA this morning, that's another one that eats at me.
Partial.
Got another partial, Peter. Maybe not. I thought he was coming back. He just quickly went in and told us that he got a partial on it. So, yeah, it was $16 today. If you look, Baba just collapsed. Of course, Baba just collapsed. If we look at NVIDIA here, right here off the previous day close was a beautiful entry. This pullback off the low, coming down in. Had good volume going into it. That was a great short if you took that off a break of a low of a day going into it. Rejection of VWAP. Just a nice trade in the morning. I'm just not good R-ball on it too. I just can't trade NVIDIA. The spread gets me, it seems like. Where's Baba? Oh yeah, big collapse on Baba. Wow. SPY falling off of its all-time high as well. It's going down. Yeah, that would have been a good move. But again, that's hard to take, right? Where are you going to take that unless you get it off of some squawk news, right? And you get in right at the right time, because I mean, look at that. Everything's saying it's up, and all of a sudden within a 1 minute candle, it goes from 261, drops down to 254. Maybe you get in the pullback there. It's a tough one. Peter taking another partial on Facebook. JD's probably, yeah. Let's see what JD's up to. JD giving back. See, like JD, you could have gotten one, right? You got the moving averages coming over. Kind of got a top here at 70. Comes back up, makes another top here at 70, 64. And then again, it tries to make it here, but doesn't get past 763. Moving averages cross. You probably had a better chance of getting in there. So still pretty tough. JD bouncing back up. I'm assuming Baba's probably doing the same thing, bouncing off that level. Yeah, look at that. Baba's strong pullback. So, charting, Chicago Mike charting software. What charting software are you referring to? Chicago Mike. This is DAS, yes. This is the DAS Pro. So, you can, and that's the thing I like about DAS, is you can configure DAS however you want to. Oh, looks like Peter's back. I'll bring him back up on the screen so he can tell us how his wonderful Facebook trade is going.
It's going well. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. I love it. I moved my stop down so that I don't get stopped at the top. But look at this. You gotta like it when you get a partial. I was even on the phone. Here, let me post this. You can't even see the bottom of the candle because of where my partial is. I'm gonna like that. So.
Nice. Yeah, those ones are always good.
So I'm happy with that. We got that right at the bottom of that candle. What actually was the low on that candle? It was 263.055, and I got 263.09, so it was close. Anyway, it's good.
Coming
this
back
is a good
down
way to
there.
end it, right?
Yeah, it's coming back down to you now too.
Might need to take.
Thanks to Jimmy L for that one.
I'll take another partial. Yeah, who called that out? Somebody had me looking at Facebook.
Jimmy L. Jimmy L.
Jimmy L. Jimmy. Free beers for you at our next meetup. Of course, that's a giveaway of nothing because everybody gets free beer at our meetup. So, just to be clear, I love offering that. It makes me sound all generous. The reality is, Andrew pays for them all, anyways.
Yes, he pays for all of it.
Here we go. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Taking another partial down here.
Did
I get it? Oh, look at that. Oh man, 262.99 is where I got filled. Well, at least it was below 263.
262.99.
Nagraj, my original entry was 263.93. I was trying to get. I wanted to get a full dollar on that partial, but I got ripped off by 6 cents. 263.93 is my entry. I'm gonna move my stop back down here to 263.72. There we go. That way I've got a 20-cent buffer in case this thing really leaps. Maybe I can get a drop to yesterday's close. How about that? $2. Let's get it.
Yesterday's close. 2 days ago close. Or yesterday's.
Garth. You got the same entry. That's excellent. I'm glad to see there are people in the trade with me. Look, I wasn't sure how far it could pop, so I put a 40-cent risk on that. So 263.93 was my entry. My stop, I assumed it was basically going to be at the top of the previous candle because I got in on the 334 candle. So the 333 candle high was 264. Sorry, 264.22. So I was thinking that, 30, 40 cents needed to be my stop. I guess that's only 30 cents, but it's end of day trade. Sometimes I make them a little smaller just to mitigate risk. So yeah, but that would have been my stop if it came up above that.
Yeah, nice. Boom.
Excellent. Well, hey, this is that puts it helps with the wound from Tesla. Well, it wasn't really a wound. It's just hurt pride from calling Tesla but not taking that. Glad I took Facebook. Probably should have taken more size on this, but anyways, it is what it is. It's a good trade.
And nice rollover. Good call out, Jimmy L. So for earnings tonight, once again, we are with nothing.
Nothing again?
Yeah, we have, unless you want to hang out for Lazy Boy. I mean, there's earnings whispers #1 that's on there. But there really is nothing this afternoon at all for our earnings.
Have you ever figured out how they order that?
So this is by most anticipated is this one. So according to Earnings Whisper, Lazy Boy is the most anticipated release this afternoon. But there are some for tomorrow that we have. Another good move down for you, Peter.
I want a partial more than $1. I couldn't quite get it. I should have hit the button when it was at 92. Come on.
There you go. It's at 90.
No. I got to get the ask has to be below there. I won't get filled. But, the ask was not quite getting there.
Not quite there. So tomorrow we have target and we have low before the market opens.
Lowe's should be interesting. Lowe's generally trades a little bit better than Home Depot. Home Depot came out today, as most of us know, I guess, and it wasn't really a great trade. I had one trade on Home Depot, and I got stopped to break even on that. So, and it, again, another time. I don't know why I watch it every time there's earnings. I watch it, and every time I'm like, why am I watching this? This sucks.
Yeah, and Lowe's should be pretty decent. They trade all right. Still a little bit. It's above the $100 mark, but I can't imagine that they aren't going to produce some decent earnings. I mean, every time I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, they're just packed now.
Yeah. Well,
so
it seems to be like houses are selling like really fast. I think everybody, now that everybody's a homebody, home improvement is all the rage. People are buying bigger houses where they can afford it. It's been an interesting time. Nvidia, look at Nvidia. It is. I thought they were reporting after the close, aren't they?
No.
Or is it tomorrow?
I believe it is tomorrow after the close. Is Nvidia?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Wednesday after the close.
Okay. All right. Well, they're coming back up to green here. It looks like they're going to make a run going red to green. That's quite a move on Nvidia. $3 move there.
Yeah. Nvidia rejected that $500 mark pretty hard this morning. So
right off the open, yeah.
Yeah, right off the open. Had great.
Here we go.
Went up. Pre-market it got above there, but but during the market, I mean, it basically hit the 499.84 mark and just sold from there on down.
There we go. Partial on Facebook.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Oh no, sorry. As I zoom in, I didn't quite get the bottom of that candle. Not bad. Close though.
Yeah, John, you're right. I mean, houses are going quick. Even here in California, in our neighborhood, we had 2 that put it up, and they weren't even on the market for 2 days before they were in escrow.
Yeah, like we've got houses are going fast and all above asking. So I had someone appraise. I did this online appraisal of my house, and it came in bigger than expected. But it's I'm not. My wife keeps saying we should look at a new place. I'm like, why? I like my house. I don't want a new house.
Yeah. I like
We
my
do have
house
other
too,
considerations.
but I would sell it if I could move to Florida.
Oh, wow.
But that hasn't. I haven't gotten that past my daughter and my wife.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Maybe
my
you should
daughter-
go down. Stay with Thor. He's promised. He will. He's like the best sales agent for Florida. You want the Florida Tourism Board? Like that's Thor, man. You bring him down. Load. You could load the family into the Hummer, and he'll drive you around and take you to the beach. And I mean, they got to be sold after that stuff.
Oh yeah. It for my daughter. She's in high school now, so she doesn't want to leave all of her friends. Oh, Lynn,
Yeah.
trust me, I know.
That's But you want to sell your wife, like figure out what the cost is of your house. Tell Thor, I want to see houses in that same price range, and then he'll drive you to the mansions that you could get. Like,
Yep.
like your dollar will go. I mean, I don't know what the prices are in your area of California, but I know generally California compared to Florida, like you're gonna
they're
get
crazy.
without exaggeration four times the house for the same price.
Yeah.
So you,
No.
so you want to sell your wife? You're selling your wife?
No, I'm not selling my wife. Don't even start that
Sell his
rumor.
wife on the prospect.
That's kind of like
Don't take half my comment.
Yeah.
take my wife, please.
So, with about 8 minutes left, let's hit the member trade of the day, and then Brian, you can do a market recap if you'd like. So today's member trade of the day was very difficult to decide. There were 2 that were out there, but today's went to Mr. Spock for his trade on SE. So,
Mr. Spock.
yes, Mr. Spock out there. He did some very good in-depth analysis of the price action and the volume on SE. Not really a great pre-market trend, but once it opened, you notice that it sold off, but on extremely low volume, and the next candle came in, and the buyers started picking up, so he took an entry. What's really nice about this is he had a predetermined kind of profit target levels at whole dollars, and he stuck to that on that first big candle right after his entry. Let it go through that, and then as it started to come back down, I think that's when he partialed, and then he took his partials off at the other area, and then eventually got out at break even on the last little bit. So very good rip up through the entry, through the moving averages. So excellent trade, Mr. Spock.
Excellent. Well done.
Are we,
That was a
are we
hard
looking for
decision.
some Star Trek? Are we looking for some Star Trek analogies or Star Trek sayings we can say?
We
We
could.
weren't, but feel free to throw them in if you want, Brian.
Feel free.
Full speed ahead, Mr. Zulu.
There we go. So if you want to submit your trade, please submit it on Twitter. Tag at Bearable Traders, at Mike_BBT, and at NormBBT. This lets us know that you aren't just sharing the trade, but you're actually submitting it for the Member Trade of the Day competition. These are live trades, and they're done on the integrity process because that's what our community is about. We trust you. So please only submit your live trades that are out there. If you're still in sim, don't worry about it. Eventually you'll be able to compete because we know you'll eventually transition over. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we got Kreda, who's coming in and talking about finding your mental edge. And this will actually be a very good webinar on helping you to identify what it is in your trading process that you feel you're lacking. So she's got a handout that will be there that everybody that joins the webinar, as well as if you watch the recording, will be able to download it. And it takes you through a step-by-step process of identifying the top 3 things that are holding you back. And then she, in follow-on webinars on our Tuesday psychology sessions, will be going into how to improve specifically in those areas. And on this one, I am sure you're going to get a little bit of, hey, how do you improve in these areas once you identify them as well. The following week, we got Naz, who will be talking about his experience of going through some losses, which we should be good around this time. I know some traders have had a little bit of a rough time the last week or so, so it would be good to get in there because this is something you are going to experience unless you are like Thor, who's just impeccable and never seems to have a red day anymore now that he's figured out how to find Waldo in the stock market in a matter of seconds. So, but for the rest of us mere mortals, we will experience losing streaks, and it's always good to know that you're not the only one out there when you're going through it. So that should be a great webinar that we got going on. And then Nada, who we've had before, is coming back in, going to talk about how to cultivate your self-discipline with mindfulness. So if you lack self-discipline or want to improve your self-discipline, this would be a great psychology webinar to come to. And then last but not least, we have our chat room discount. If you'd like to join the chat room for a 1-week trial, you can use the discount code PREMARKET24. You also get access to our onboarding class, which goes on Mondays at 8 p.m. with Carlos. And then for anybody that does not already have a lifetime membership, if you want to purchase a one-time membership, you can use the discount LABOR35 to get 35% off the one-time purchase of a lifetime membership. And that is all of our announcements today.
Cool.
Boom.
Very good, very good.
And we have no good earnings after hours. Unless you like lazy boys.
No good earnings.
I could have held for or almost VWAP. That's all right. I almost had no shares left. I'm glad I got out. Facebook was an awesome trade. There you go.
Awesome call out, Jimmy.
Let's do we can do a quick recap here of what the market looks like today in terms of sectors.
All right.
Very quickly, we got 2 minutes left. Strong sectors today again. SPY making a new high. XLY, the discretionaries and the communication stocks pushing up again. Technology seems to be still strong, but some of the things that suffered today were the industrials, the materials, as we saw with the gold trade pullback, and energy particularly weak, and the financials particularly weak today. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, the materials did kind of take a hit.
Yeah, it's particularly strange, well, I guess counterintuitive, because of course you've got, you do have the dollar getting weaker, and usually that's good for commodities. So maybe the financials are weak because Warren Buffett's getting out of Goldman Sachs and everything else.
Ooh.
Going to be hiding in the gold trade. I think he's seeing the apocalypse coming with the election.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some uncertainty in the next couple months, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So-
There will be some strange stuff going on. Interesting stuff.
Karen, I love your question. I think it's a great question. So, if you're having trouble holding to your targets, that's a common problem. I suffer from that as well. Um, oh, and there's the closing
And
bell.
there's the closing
There's the
bell.
dinger.
Glad I
There's the
got out.
dinger.
Let me answer that question. You have to you're going to have to be honest with yourself about why you're not holding. However, one general recommendation, you'll have to determine if it's applicable for you, would be take a really small partial early. So sometimes you want it to be green and you can't let it go red, or you're worried about covering your commissions. I don't know. You got to figure out why you're not able to wait long enough. But one of the ways around that, irrespective of that reason, might be take a really small partial. I mean, like 10% of your size, 5% if you can manage it, just something. So you've got some green on the board, then hold the rest. Now you have to determine where the stock is at. But if you're tempted to take a partial, because my strategy, as soon as I take a partial, my stop goes to break even. So I've now been able to, mostly when I take these early partials, I'm taking like 5 or 10% of my size. It calms me emotionally and allows me to hold for the longer move and the technical targets, because I know now it's guaranteed of not being a red trade. I've got a little bit off the table. I can see that little bit of green in the realized column. Now my strategy is I must stop at break even, and I'm good. In theory, you should be able to not take a partial at all and just move your stop to break even and sit and wait. I know for myself, I'm not able to do that. So maybe one of those two strategies, or either take a small partial, or when you get to a point at which you're tempted to take a partial, move your stop to break even. Try not to take anything off, because at least then you know this is guaranteed of not going red. So give that a
Yep.
try. Now the risk is that it
I
may
would
go back slightly past your entry, and then you get stopped out, and then it goes in your direction. So you've got to know you're taking that risk if you follow either of those pieces of advice. But it might help you calm you for the more of them that are just going to continue to move. So hopefully that helps.
I would concur with Peter, and I'd even be more aggressive on my first partial. I'd be up to even 25%, but that's sort of something that you have to figure out with your own trading style. But I can't really add much more to what Peter said, other than it does, by taking a partial and moving your stop to break even, it gives you the ability to have a little more patience in the trade.
Yep, absolutely concur. It's life changing when you get into a trade and you take that partial and you move it to stop break even. All of a sudden, you can read the price action so much more clear at that point too, because you no longer have the emotional worry of losing your money. The only thing that, like Peter talked about, that I would add to that is, when you do take those partials, there will be those times that it does come back to your break even, stop you out, and then moves in your direction and eventually hits your profit target. You just got to remember that your mind is always going to remember the most recent time it happened, but it will always forget the time when it came to your break even and went against you and continued. It will, but I have found that I am more than willing to take a quick partial, get stopped out, and watch the stock run like Baba did to me today. It happens, but I'd rather that happen to me than keep taking a stop at a worse spot and make my losses larger. So, alrighty. So with that, we will say bye to our friends on YouTube, because there is really no earnings after hours for anything that's of interest. Lazy Boy is reporting at 4:15, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody trade Lazy Boy in our community. Ever in the time I've been here. So,
Okay.
so
Thanks, everyone.
Good deal, guys. Thanks, everybody. Peter and Mike, have a great evening, everybody.